morning everybody. It's about 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, Saturday the 29th of October. It is 8:54 and as you can see I am not at Parkrun today. So yes, we went out last night. We had a really nice evening actually. Went to a bar, had a couple of cocktails. I'll put a couple of pictures up actually. So I said yesterday about I was wanted to wear a dress that I bought from a charity shop a couple of days ago. I hadn't tried it on, so I tried it on last night before, well, put it on. I was really pleased with it. What you'd call a little black number. So I was really pleased with it actually. Fitted really nicely and I felt quite glamorous in it. So yeah, so we went out, we went to a bar, had a couple of drinks, a couple of cocktails. Then we went to one of our favourite restaurants in Derby. Had a nice meal. It was a little bit disappointing. The service, I think they were a bit short-staffed. The service was very slow. That doesn't bother me particularly. I'm quite happy we weren't in any rush, but the food wasn't as good as it usually is. So we did, and nobody came to check and ask if the food was okay. So we did sort of say about a couple of things. So we got free desserts, so that was nice. So I don't know if you can see out the window, it is raining. I can see it on the skylights up here. It is raining this morning, so I'm not at Parkrun for two reasons. One, because we had a late night and a boozy night and a late dinner, and I wouldn't really have wanted to do Parkrun this morning. I mean, I have done it after nights like that before. It's not always the best. And it's chucking it down with rain. So the combination of those two things, nah, not happening. So today I need to go to the post office. I need to do some schoolwork. I need to do some ironing. So make sure I've got some clothes for going back to work in. I try to avoid ironing. No, anything that I can get away with not ironing, I will. I'm not one of these people who irons tea towels. This will not surprise you. Not one of these people who iron tea towels and box shorts. To be honest, a lot of clothes, if I can get away with just hanging them up without ironing, I will. But unfortunately, some things just need ironing. And it's just my stuff usually. Maybe a bit of Amelia's, but it's mostly my stuff. So yes, I need to do some ironing. Need to work on the vest. That's really the plans for the day. Got to go to the post office. Pack up some orders, a couple of orders first thing. Yeah, schoolwork. Remember, I've got those 4 essays left to mark, so get those marked today. That's it. So it'll be a busy day, lots to do. I can hear the chickens as well. They're making a lot of noise. They need cleaning out, but I have asked the hubster to clean out the chickens this weekend, which he did say he would do for me. I've been so busy because he said, can't you do it? Because they are my chickens, and that was kind of the deal. Me getting chickens was that I would look after them, I would clean them out, etc. Yeah, I did say I have been kind of busy, so he did say he would do that for me today. So fingers crossed he will. Okie dokie. I think that's it. I will check in with you as we go through the day. Bye for now. Good afternoon. I'm having a coffee break. I feel like I deserve it. It's about 10 to 4. I spent all morning packing up orders and doing stuff for Likac. Then I had a bit of lunch. I'm feeling a lot more human than I was first thing this morning. I wouldn't say I was hungover, but you know when you feel that you've been out the night before, it was a bit like that. So yeah, spent this morning working on Likac stuff. Then I've done some work on the vest. Amelia this morning went out with a friend doing a cake decorating course, cake decorating workshop. I think it's probably fair to say. I've got a tiny little bit of video to show you with Amelia in it as well, of some of the cakes she decorated. I think she'd already eaten one by then. And I did ask her if I could take a bit of video. The cardigan she's wearing is one that I knitted for her last year, I think.
Can I show you? Can I show you? Okay.
Doesn't she look lovely in it? That was using pound shop yarn as well, because I didn't think she would wear it very often. She wears quite a bit actually, so I held it double. She wanted a sort of dusky pink colour. Yeah, I'm sure it was last year I knitted that for her. Anyway, so as you know, been working on Advents a lot this week, and it's got me thinking. So obviously I've got my own Advent this year, Likac, and I've got another Advent coming from a friend I've done a swap with, and it's got me thinking about what to knit with the Advents this year, and whether to just use them in, you know, scrappy projects or to do a project in particular. And I think this year I am definitely going to, with my own, the Likac Advent, I'm definitely going to do a project on that and do one part of it a day. And I've been looking at some patterns by Ambah O'Brien and also Helen Stewart. Both of those designers have some really lovely patterns that are designed specifically for Advent, although of course you can use any kind of scrappy project, you know, any kind of your own scraps anyway. You don't have, doesn't have to be an Advent set. And both of them have got some lovely patterns. I noticed Helen Stewart, who is also known as Curious Handmade, she has just released her latest knit event, which is a selection, I think it's normally 4 patterns, and within that there is always a pattern for an Advent set, and she's just released a new one this year. Wow, it's stunning. This huge great big shawl, circular shawl, massive. It is stunning, but I'm not sure that's what I'm planning on knitting. When I was at the when I was at Yarndale, I saw can't get the words out today. I saw an Ambah O'Brien pattern that I really liked. And so I've been looking at those. And Ambah O'Brien always does a really good knit along as well, where you can use any of her Advent patterns. They're not free, nor Helen Stewart's, they're paid for patterns. So last year in 2021, I did one of Ambah O'Brien's patterns during the year, and it was one of her Advent designs. And they were lacy squares, knitted squares that all sewed up together to make a lovely blanket. Now, I was going to show you that blanket, but it's in the boot of the car, so I will put up a picture. I'll put up a picture there of the finished object from when I made it before. And I've also made the Helen Stewart habitation throw. So that gives you an idea of 2 projects I've done before, not actually with Advents. Because I'm going to be honest and say this year will be the first year I've actually had a proper Advent. Because last year, even though I did do one for Likac, I ended up selling them all and not keeping one for myself. So this year I've actually got my own. So yeah, let me know, what are you thinking of? What are you thinking of for an Advent project? Are you thinking of doing an Advent project? Are you getting an Advent calendar? Are you going to make your own? Are you just going to find scraps? I mean, I've got lots of scrappy projects. Those of you that watch the podcast, you will have seen I've got a granny stripe blanket, and also the Battenberg blanket. But I think this year, I'm going to do a wrap rather than the blanket, and I think I'm going to do one of the Ambah O'Brien wraps. So check her out. She's got her own website. She's on Instagram. I will. I'm probably not going to put a link below, but I will just I'll put a name up on here so you can see how she spells her name. Ambah O'Brien. Just look her up if you've not seen her. She has got some amazing, lots and lots of patterns that are specifically designed for Advents. So I would say have a look at her. So yes, have a look at hers if you've not seen any of her patterns before. And then the other thing, what else am I going to do today? I'm going to carry on with the theatre vest. That's coming on. Yeah, it's coming on okay. I'm getting quicker on the pearl rows. I'm beginning to just get into a little bit more of a rhythm with it. So that's coming on quite well. I just don't think at the moment though I can justify knitting anything else, because I'm just going to worry. Oh, change plan for tomorrow as well though, so I will have tomorrow to knit. We were going to go up and visit Eloise at uni, but she's got a really nasty cold and she's feeling really grotty today. And the thing is, if we go up and visit her, she's in a student house. We can't, there's the three of us, we can't just hang around in her house. They've only got a small little lounge, and there's 5 of them that live in that house anyway. So we can't just go and hang around in the house. We would go out and, you know, go into York or do stuff for the day. And if she's not feeling very well, that's not going to be much fun for her. So I've said to her, you know, just keep yourself warm, well hydrated. We've put together a care package that's going to be delivered to her today by Morrison's. So she asked me, had I got her an advent calendar, or did she need to buy her own, which made me feel really guilty. So the Morrison's delivery includes an advent calendar for her, and some tissues and some nice herbal tea that she likes. She likes the sleep time pucker tea, but it's quite expensive, and as a student she can't buy things like that for herself. So yeah, what have we put in there? Some Lemsip, some tissues, some herbal tea, an advent calendar, some chocolate biscuits, just some nice bits and pieces. So that's going to arrive on her doorstep this evening for her, and we're going to go up and see her next weekend instead. So that does mean I can crack on with the Fair Isle. I really am thinking, as long as there's enough wool to do it this way, I think I'm only going to do the colour work on the front. It will just take the stress off, because it also then means if the back is just plain one colour, then it's going to be knitting that I can do in the car more easily and things like that. So yeah, that's the plan with the colour work. Yeah, there's part of me that really would like to do the back and colour as well, but I just think I've got to be practical and yeah, not give myself a hard time. So I think this is going to be it for the day. So in which case I better show you what I've done so far on the blanket, not the blanket, on the vest. So I will just change camera angles, and so you can see what I've done on the vest, and then I think I'm going to edit this and get it up, although it's quite early. No, I'll show you in a second what I've done. So this is where we're up to now on the colourwork vest. Yesterday, I put a progress keeper in this morning. So yeah, yesterday I got up to there. So I've done that much so far today. But I'm going to be working on it all evening. There's going to be a lot of ends to sew in because you're not knitting it in the round. There are some times when you use a colour and then you don't use it for, say, 3 rows. And so the next time you need to use it, it's the other end, it's a pearl row instead of a knit row or whatever, so having to cut the yarn a lot. But I'm not weaving it in as I go, because that can create because it's seamed, what I will do is once I sew the seams together, I will sew the ends in over the seams, because if I weave them all in at the ends here, then it's just gonna, one, that's quite fiddly to do anyway on colourwork rows, and 2, it's going to create a lot more bulk down the side of it, of the garment. So I will sew, once I've sewn the seams together, I will sew the ends in over the seam, if that makes sense. I know what I mean. Right, okay, so that's where we're up to. See you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.